had a wonderful time down here at the James Madison Institute talking about China tech policy. We know China tech is a threat to state governments. That's why we just passed Senate Bill 346 in Georgia. We recognize the threat that Chinese, either wholly owned or partially owned governments have and companies have to the state of Georgia.
So Georgia has already taken a step forward earlier this year. Bill signed by Governor Kemp, that came into play. Florida is contemplating this now, and the legislative session is going to begin. Other states are looking at it. This is model legislation. It's available at ALEC's website. Also, the way that the ALEC bill is framed, it is companies where there's explicit ownership by the Chinese government, and we can identify that. If you look at, for example, Lexmark printers, Chinese government ownership. Look at Lenovo, company founded by the Chinese government. Let's look at DJI, leading maker of drones. Again, Chinese government ownership. How about something like Hikvision, cameras, all over the place, but again, Chinese government owned.
I would like to see the state of Florida eliminate its reliance on China. If we have to start at the top of the value chain, where we're not only reliant from a value chain perspective, but they can actually steal information, fine, let's start there. But I'd like to go as far down the value chain as we can. The bottom line is our economy cannot afford to be dependent on the Chinese.
The China tech threat is a nationwide issue. So while we've passed it in Georgia and we have model legislation from ALEC, today we're in Florida talking to Representative Randy Fine about adopting this kind of policy right here in the state of Florida. And, as I suspect, adopting this policy all over our great nation to protect ourselves in trade, in intellectual property, our corporations, our families, and the backbone of the American economy.
So, a question I get a lot is, don't we have restrictions on this at the federal level? Well, we do absolutely, but that doesn't mean that applies at the states. Our government has a separation between the federal level and the state level. So states have to step up and make sure that their data, whether it's the enterprise data, the individuals, what have you, that it is actually secure and on a secure device.
If you look at great conflicts of the United States looking back for the last 70 years, in World War II, when we fought the Japanese and the Germans, our economy did not rely on products from those countries. We fought the Cold War for 30 or 40 years with the Soviet Union. We were not reliant on anything from them. Well, the great conflict of our time today is with China, but we are reliant on them. So we have made this mistake of putting handcuffs on ourselves by being reliant on a country that, while we may not see them as the enemy, they see us as the enemy. We may not think we're at war with them, but they think they're at war with us, and we need to react accordingly.